Saving Grasshopper. Chapter 1. The Bird Girl. Amy sat on the school steps and carefully tore her sandwich in half. She kept one half for herself and broke the other into tiny crumbs. A sparrow fluttered down from a nearby tree and hopped up to her, cocking its head to one side. By now Amy was a familiar sight to the sparrow. Each day she sat in the same place, sharing her lunch with the birds. "How are you today?" Amy whispered, extending her hand. The sound of lunchtime games faded as Amy imagined the birds' morning. She pictured the sparrow narrowly escaping the pouncing paws of a cat on the hunt. "Amy's talking to her birds again," said Lauren, giggling. "Did you hear her this morning saying the birds have feelings?" asked Taylor. "I thought her talk was interesting," Tia replied. "She must spend lots of time taking care of birds." "Well, I'd rather hang out with my friends," said Lauren. "The birds are her friends," Tia explained. Suddenly, a basketball landed on the steps, and the birds flew off with a whoosh. "Sorry, Amy," Jacob called, laughing. Amy felt humiliated. She knew he'd meant to scare away the birds. Mrs. Mitchell, the school librarian, walked into the schoolyard. "The book that we ordered just arrived," she said to Amy, handing her a package. Suddenly Amy forgot about Jacob and the other kids. This was the book she'd been waiting for. Tearing open the package, she read the title, "Migratory Birds of North America," and admired the birds on the cover. When the bell rang for class, Amy returned the book to Mrs. Mitchell. "You can pick it up after school and take it home," Mrs. Mitchell said. Back in class, Mr. Martinez waited patiently for the students to take out their writing folders, when he asked them to close their eyes and use their imagination. "Imagine it's a bright spring day like today," Mr. Martinez said, "and you're walking around outside. Visualize what kind of animals you might see. Now open your eyes and write about what you saw." Some children gazed out of the window thoughtfully, but Amy smiled as her pencil raced across her page. Thanks to all the migrating birds she'd recently seen returning from their winter home, she had plenty of inspiration. Later that day, Mrs. Mitchell saw Mr. Martinez in the teacher's lounge, and she asked him if the other students were still teasing Amy. "Yes, they are," Mr. Martinez replied. "I need to encourage them to recognize how much Amy has to offer." After school, Amy picked up the book from the library and then met her dad at the front gate. When they got home, she fixed herself a peanut butter and banana sandwich while her dad went upstairs to finish some work. Amy pored over the new library book as she ate, studying the information on Tanger's colorful birds that were one of her favorites. Later, Amy went into the yard and sprinkled birdseed underneath the oak tree. Then she reached up to the bird feeder and placed half an orange into it. Amy enjoyed feeding the birds in spring because there were so many different varieties around. Amy saw sparrows, jays, and finches all year round, but in the spring, birds like tangers and orioles visited. "Hey, honey," Amy's dad said, walking toward the oak tree. "I just looked through your library book and saw some beautiful photographs." "Yes," Amy replied. "Mrs. Mitchell ordered it especially for me."